Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. These things, they're getting chunkier, and they're getting better. This is probably what I'd consider the best yet in the series. J.K. Rowling has a knack for not going outside the lines, so it's no wonder that Harry starts this summer off at the Dursleys' house again. I was so keyed in on this giant dog sighting that even the night bus couldn't distract me. Like, I didn't care about that. Tell me about this ominous dog and what's going on. But nope, chaotic bus ride on the night bus. That's what you get as a reader. Kinda surprising that this driver took an underage kid to a bar. What is this, Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Then again, I shouldn't be that surprised because he's also the driver that told Harry that there's a convicted felon on the loose. It's like a mix between Miss Frizzle and Otto from The Simpsons. We got a magic bus and a crazy person driving it. I enjoyed a few of the off-season intros we got this time around. The monster book that's a monster itself, Hermione's new cat Crookshanks, Ron's brother Percy becoming head boy. Could we not think of a better name than head boy? I mean, we've got Keeper of Keys and Grounds with Hagrid, but we got head boy over here with Percy. Maybe she ran out of creative juices that day. As a reader, it really came as no surprise that Sirius Black was hunting Harry. Everybody's always hunting Harry. Now, in the past, I've made special note that I think the dementors are the drag car from Wheel of Time with a different J.K. Rowling flair. And I'm not saying she ripped it off. I really don't think she is. She doesn't strike me as the kind to read a devastatingly long 15-book series, but I guess we'll never know. But even if it is a lesser version of the creatures in Robert Jordan's world, don't let me make you think that these are any less scary in the Potterverse. We needed to level up in the wizarding world, and the Dementors do just that. I mean, creatures that suck the love and joy and emotion right out of you, that's leveling up. It's the new dark arts teacher Lupin that gets Harry through his first Dementor scuffle, and even though he's the third in 3 years, he's definitely the most competent so far. Professor Trelawney to me was an incredible add, because we can all relate to having that crazy professor or teacher in high school. I mean, you were never skipping that class. You needed to go so you could report back to your friends at the lunchroom and just chat up about the insane things that happened there. So slap a wizarding lens on it, call it divination, and Rowling has just connected the subconscious, nostalgic mind to the wizarding world of Harry Potter. How Hagrid went from handcuffs to teacher on staff is a wild roller coaster. But more outlets for creative and fantastic beasts makes for a more magical world, so I support it. The Hippogriff scuffle actually reminded me of Geralt in the Witcherverse and how he treats monsters, if you were, in this case creatures. You know, not all creatures are created equal. Some have higher moral fiber. So yeah, Draco, insult its honor at your own risk. Lupin training kids on Bogarts definitely should have been screened before entering the curriculum. I'm not saying that because I don't think it's important. I'm saying that bringing these children's very real traumas into physical form, we're lucky that the worst that we got was Neville being afraid of Professor Snape. The moving portraits were always kind of a cool quirk to me, but to bring them into the actual plot itself as a narrative device, okay, I see you. Cue the Marauders map. These devices in these books, these magical devices, are getting better and more clever. Imagine we can get this into the hands of the FBI or the CIA, or little kids tracking Santa on Christmas. Hogsmeade, for whatever reason, makes me think of the Hogwarts equivalent of college spring break. Granted, it's winter, but 13-year-olds trying to go out to the pub and needing permission slips to do so sounds a little fishy. And Harry is so desperate for butterbeer that he sneaks in using his invisibility cloak. Rowling shows that she's learning to build tension. Harry's isolation feels more real than ever. To me, it's an incredible way to show that the feeling of loneliness on its own is something we can feel innately. Take Harry as a child. He understands what loneliness is, even if he's had nothing to compare it to. But when you introduce these fulfilling friendships with Ron and Hermione and Hagrid and his schoolmates, then you rip that away. Having the ability to have felt that connection and then have it taken away allows you to understand true loneliness. You don't know what you got until it's gone. But as for the depth of that, the internal dialogue, it's lacking. And that's not a shot at the writing. I mean, It would be a major, major 180 to go from the way she had been writing the stories and this story up to date, then to switch the writing style to have a lot of inner mind thoughts of what Harry's thinking. Now, the Dementors, as cool and ad as they are, I never once bought the fact that they are pretty much being the Night's Watch for Hogwarts. But a ridiculous concept that I will accept every single time is a prophecy. Every good fantasy novel has at least a somewhat decent prophecy. Game of Thrones, Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, the Stormlight Archive. So go get 'em, Professor Trelawney. And it freaked the hell out of Harry, rightfully so. Sometimes I forget he's in 8th grade. Like, if I saw my baddie professor go completely unconscious and blurt a prophecy out at me, yeah, I'd be probably unhinged too. Now, I guess it wouldn't be Harry Potter if the climax wasn't led to by Harry running around in his invisibility cloak. Now, once again, Rowling does not care to put limitations on how many magical creatures she puts in her books. So yeah, a transforming human, cool, transform into a werewolf. And then also a transforming rat into a human into a rat. I was half expecting Crookshanks to transform at this point, but I do give the author credit here. Finally, a truly wonderful ending. The lead up to the haunted Shrieking Shack, the passage through the Whomping Willow, the double cross between Sirius and Pettigrew and Lupin, Pettigrew on the Marauders map. She actually crafted puzzle pieces that made sense when you put them together. And while it stunk to see Pettigrew get away, I was ready to be on my high horse about what came next, another nonsensical J.K. Rowling finish, because a stag, Patronus, makes its way across and saves Harry, and then he passes out like he does in every other book, and I'm just thinking to myself, at this point, Ron, Hermione, start carrying smelling salts. This whole thing is blowing up, but Dumbledore is cool as a cucumber, because he's got a plan. The Time Turner. I'll eat crow on this one. I was wrong. I prejudged the finish. I thought the same kind of ending was coming. The ability to tie the events together and explain the oddities and actually reflect and recall back to things that were truly written, that's a success. Bravo. Clearing Sirius for Harry and then introducing him as a father figure-like role model, I think, was a nice bow on top at the end. We're flirting with pretty high marks here. Let's start with the double plot twist. Granted, I had a sneaking suspicion that the Sirius situation was not black and white. It was pretty crazy to see that he had been framed the whole time, but rather than sit with that ending, Rowling did what I think most authors would not do. She pushed the envelope to force the reader to not get this justice prevails ending right away. No instant gratification. Instead, she sets up this it's all for naught ending, and you're kind of like, wait, really? Is this how it's gonna end? And she uses the Time Turner to bring the gratification that you're looking for. I love when a payoff is unexpected. Could it have been a little less info dumpy? Yeah, but I'm seeing progress being made here, and I'm not gonna rip it apart to shreds right now. And I've seen a good number of time travel attempts, what with Steins Gate, or The Time Machine, or Back to the Future, of course. This one was executed pretty well. It's really easy to stumble over yourself when you take that leap into time travel, and Rowling came out pretty unscathed. However, I do need to point out that this was rather convenient. I'm not sure if time travel was just another one of those fun ideas she has that just she needed to smush into the final edit. Usually I hate time travel as a plot device unless the book is specifically about time travel, the show, the movie, whatever it may be. And I used to hate time travel for this book specifically, but when I reflect back and think about the double plot twist and how it was executed and how that was a tool to make that happen, I'm not going to be as nitpicky. I'm also really in on the continued leveling up of the story, book after book. When you think of the lens that it's seen through, an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, it actually only makes sense that the books would mature with him. I mean, thinking about the relationships, maybe I was being too harsh on the early books, because what can 11 or 12-year-old really say about his friendships? It's not until maybe your teenage years that you truly understand deep true friendships. But it's not just like Ron and Hermione, it's Sirius, it's Lupin. We're finally seeing multi-dimensional personalities here that we had never seen before. This is because they aren't just black or white, Snape or Dumbledore, good or evil. They're morally gray characters. And the way she layers that in with Peter and James and their childhood friends and their real lore of the Hogwarts school, you're finally learning something. These are one-way tickets to understanding the past, to Harry understanding where he came from, where his roots are. You get to learn the inventors of the Marauders map. And another subtle win in the writing is having their falling out years earlier parallel Ron and Hermione and Harry's falling out now, albeit a lot more tame, using the cat and mouse natural instinct to create some substance between the fighting between the cat and the mouse. That's not easy. I was pumped to finally see her break free a little bit from the formulas of the past. If I had to read one more word spelled backwards, I would have stopped and never finished the series. She also finds a way to finally spark real emotion, at least finally for me. The way that, Harry's Patronus comes in the form of a stag. I don't think that matters to anyone unless you get the full character arc in this story and understanding his father in his past. And I think with all the darkness and dementors about us, it's nice that she weaves in levity throughout. I think some may argue that leaving Voldemort out of this one derails the Hogwarts Express, if you will, but I have to disagree. Too much Voldemort makes the whole wizarding world way too unrealistic. There are major players throughout every society. To hyper-focus on one villain, which to be fair, is what I thought was going to happen based on the last two books, that would be really lazy writing. Even South Park is going to run out of ways to kill Kenny, but at least those are 10-second clips, not full-on novels. Now, as much as I love the Marauders map, it is riddled with plot holes. How did nobody notice a man named Peter Pettigrew sleeping with Ron every night? Kind of disturbing if you actually think about it. And another thing, there's an alleged murderer on the loose, and Harry's out here gallivanting around, oh, I want butterbeer. Dude, there is someone out here trying to kill you. Do you literally care about nobody else but yourself? You're that selfish that you gotta put everybody else in harm's way? Grinds my gears, and I'm starting to really dislike the main character, and it's hard to love a novel or a series when you don't like the main character. Side characters, sure, you can hate them, but Harry, do not make me shut the door on the wizarding world just because you want to go play Quidditch. And speaking of, I don't care about Quidditch. There, I said it. Stop using it as a way to drive the plot forward. And big surprise, the finale's against Slytherin, continuing to make 25% of this school openly villainous. Jeez, I mean, someone catches the snitch every time. I thought it was supposed to be an outlier. The Dementor thing is tough. Cool creature, higher stakes, but the staff has no consistent way of dealing with them. They can openly attack students on the train or during a Quidditch match. Dumbledore also forbids them from being on the grounds. And speaking of Dumbledore, I don't know if I'm supposed to love his learn by doing teaching approach, or if I should absolutely hate the fact that he leaves an all-powerful magical time turner in the hands of a teenage girl. I'm also tired of the one-dimensional angle of evil that is Professor Snape. I get it, you want to paint him as the bad guy. The number of times that somebody is in the right place at the right time to overhear something very important. It happens in book 1 and book 2, but in book 3, filled to the brim. He hears the Weasleys arguing about Sirius at the Leaky Cauldron. He hears the Sirius betrayal rumors at the Three Brooms pub. He hears Snape telling Lupin that he's unfit to teach while hiding in the wardrobe. He happens to be there for Trelawney's prophecy. At the Shrieking Shack, they overhear that Sirius is innocent. I mean, book 4, you just better get a new method of learning information because this is nonsense. Way too convenient. Just as convenient as having 3 animal transforming wizards, plural. Would be cool to see one of the current students make a transformation too. Okay, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, I'm gonna give you a 7-11. 7-11. Well done. Finally, we're back in the sevens with the book reviews. I really enjoyed this one. Top of his class so far. Great read, fun, very few holes to poke. I think most of those holes I shut down as, okay, at the end of the day, it still is a children's story for the most part, but it's just so enjoyable. It's so classic. I think it stands alone a little bit from the other two. Maybe not as much of the same narrative, overarching story. You get some character development, you get a lot of good things, and it's definitely a massive recovery from book 2 and definitely pushing you to book 4. Let's see what the community thought. Jordan, my guy, take a chill pill. You're so worked up, you're making up words. What is throthing? Throth. I throth, you throth, he, she, it throths? Yeah, that's not a word. What is it supposed to mean? I really want to know. Yeah, I applaud your attempt to add to Webster's dictionary. I like Roald Dahl too, but we can't just say that all attempts at children's literature have to die in the 1980s. Mike, first and foremost, I do appreciate you raising awareness for diabetes. Nobody should ever want anybody's feet falling off. Also, I don't know who Lindsay is, but any attempts to agitate friends or family is an absolute win in my book. Anything in the name of sarcasm. Harry's saying it like it is. Team Voldemort. I mean, Harry annoys me too, but I wouldn't get in bed with the devil for the hell of it. But who knows? Maybe there's a wicked Wizard of Oz parallel for the Harry Potter verse, and Voldemort was just tragically misunderstood. But how about you? Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you want to tell me how my opinions are absolutely invalid? If you do, drop a comment and tell me why below. If you enjoyed the review, drop a like, subscribe, because there will be more. Yeah, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban. I hope that it made you want to continue on through the series and finish them, because we've got a couple more book reviews headed your way. And remember folks, a chapter a day keeps the brain rot away. Bye-bye.